How's it going, everybody? Jody in here, and welcome to another lovely, beautiful day here in Stormworks. I am at the sub base. This is the Submarine base, the custom base, to show you a little bit of a project I'm working on. So, this base has multiple platforms. Currently, I'm only using two. There's actually three. There's one here. There's one hiding up on the hill here. There, over that way. And there's one inside here. You get a little view of the cave here. There's one inside here, right there. And these three platforms are for building base parts. There's another platform there. That's for spawning in vehicles into the water here. That platform there. But these platforms here are for base building. So this is the cave. You can see it comes. You have a section here, which comes into the cave, and then there's a section over here that goes into a chamber that's got a roof on it, or an opening, I should say, on it. And then you have this area here, which goes out into the boat area. I guess if you want to call it the boat area, when you can spawn your boats in here. So. I got to thinking it might be cool to actually do some base work here, and I started it. Now, unfortunately, I got quite a good distance into this before I realized there's a little bit of a problem. And the problem is, if you load in the sections wrong, or I shouldn't say if you load in the sections wrong, if you edit a section, so say I have all three sections loaded, and I'd say, oh shit, I forgot something in this section, and I go and edit this section, that section could disappear suddenly. Or if I go to edit that section, when I come back in here, this section could be gone. It could just vanish. So you kind of want to work on these pieces separately, but still make them so they can combine. In fact, you do have to make them separately because they do not combine. The build areas do not touch, which is a little bit of a challenge, but I like challenges. So I've been working on the two main sections, which is this section back here, which covers this area over here, as well as out to about, I think it stops somewhere around here. It doesn't go all the way out, which is kind of stupid because you figure you'd want to build a little dock here maybe, but it doesn't come out here. It stops like right like here. So, unfortunately, actually I'll take you into so you can see the build mode. So you can see the shape of the build mode here. I'm just going to do new so it clears it. Okay, so here's the build mode. You can see the outline. You see the box outline. That's the area you're allowed to build in. And if I turn off the world view, you can see it better. So there's the box that you're allowed to build in. So turn the world view back on now. So you can see that the area starts just outside this cave entrance, and it goes through the cave, past this hole, and a little bit past the hole to about here. So basically, it's the back section of the cave. It doesn't even go into the boat loading area. You can see here's the boat area. Here's that other build table, and you can see it ends right here, kind of in an awkward angle. It's kind of a weird awkward angle that it decides to end on. But basically, it's this hallway back here, and this chamber over here, as well as a little bit above ground. You do have a little bit of altitude here that you can play with if you want to, because it comes up to here. So you do have this altitude to play with if you want to, but you don't necessarily have to. So there is that. So anyway, I've been working on something for this area, and I'll load it in. It doesn't look like much on the little on the small clip here. So I'll load it in. You'll see here. All of a sudden, the hole is gone. You can see the hole is gone. And the cave entrance is gone. I tried my best to match the color of the ground for the blocks here. Let's get rid of that battery. I tried my best to, I can't actually go into move mode while I'm building a base, so you're going to have to bear with my cursor that has a block attached to it. Yeah, I did my best to try to match the color of the ground, and make it kind of a rock shape, to break things up, make it, you know, kind of look like it's part of the terrain, I guess, with a door on it. And then, as you can see, there's another door up here. So, at first, I wanted to put a helicopter pad here, and I did some playing around. I looked at all the different sizes of helicopter rotors, and it just didn't fit. It just didn't fit. The helicopter rotors were too big for what I was thinking of doing, which was having an elevator that lowered down. So it was just, a helicopter wouldn't work. A helicopter wouldn't work in that area. It was too small. So I went with another option. So let's spawn this in, and we'll see section 1, which is, I'm just calling this section 1. So you can kind of see it matches the color of the rock. Kinda. I got as close as I could to the rock color. At a distance, you probably wouldn't notice the difference. So, and then a big door. So we come in the door, and we have the lit hallway. We have some railings here at that weird angle, and then we have a post. We have a lightning post, or a power post. So then we come back here, and we have a security office. You can see we got a little hallway camera here that I've programmed up. It has a programmable sweep. So we can come into our security office, and we have our security desks, and then you can already hear the hum. Come through this door. Here is our power center. We have I managed to squeeze my reactor into here, and unfortunately it gets rather loud once the generators and all that spin up. But this is really the only place I could squeeze it in, was on the back end of the security room. I had the security room here first, and then I was like, oh, I need, I want power, or I should say I need power. It is true that bases do have somewhat unlimited power until you start doing stuff with them. If you hook a generator up in your base, or if you hook your base up to something else through a cable, your base will all of a sudden stop having unlimited power. So you have to be ready for your base to not have unlimited power. So anyway, here's the security office. This is basically the key area of this build. And the security office, we have this seat here, which is our camera seat. This is this is kind of our main security console. And there's the generators kicking in. It's going to get a little loud. Sorry about that. So here's our main security console. This has a lock for locking the door, so we can very quickly lock the door. You can see it's locked now, so nobody can get in or out. This is our main exit door on the outside. We can do a pan down, so we can actually look at the door. We can do a pan back up to look out at the water. That's really all the panning we kind of need for this one. So we have a button here. We can close the base door. You'll see it closing. There we go. Door be closed. And we have the ability to talk to people on the outside. There's a speaker and there's a microphone, so I can, hello, how you doing? And then they can talk back, because the microphone on the outside is always on, so they can talk back. So we'll move our little thing up, and then we have switch camera, and we can see the hallway camera. You can see the door. There's the door. It's closed. And it pans over to the security office, and then pans back the other way. And if I click the button, you can see the door open. Big door is just swinging open. So this is section 1. This is section 1 of the sea base. We have our hallway camera, and we have our main door camera. And this is also the generator. And then our second chair. Our second chair is a little more interesting. Our second chair, you can see it's got a camera zoom, it's got a night vision switch, and it's got a firing system key. So you sit in this chair, and oh, I got to take the data off. This is for testing. All this data on the screen is for testing. But you can see that we are currently in a bay, or in a hangar, and you can see a set of doors. Guess where this is? Flip our little switch, doors open, and away we go. We have a lock on a target. See a little boat out there. Now it's probably going to miss because I haven't fine-tuned it. It might shoot underneath. It's an automatic system. Automatic locks and fires, and it looks like it is shooting low. I do have to tune it up. So I built the software so it can be tuned. Or is it firing high? You know, I might have to go outside and see where it's firing. Kind of looked like that last shot was high. Reloads and then fires. Oh no, it's shooting low. It is definitely shooting low. Okay. So we'll shut off the turret, and by shutting off the turret, what actually happens is the turret goes back down into the bay. Doors close, and the turret is started. So anyway, doors unlocked, doors open. Okay, so this is basically section 1. This is section 1 of the base that I've worked on. Now, we're going to go and bring in section 2. And this is the second section of the base. I haven't done the third section of the base because I don't really know what to do with the third section of the base. The third section of the base is pretty much all outside. Actually, you know what? There could be some section of the base that is... No, it's not. There's not, because this section goes through the roof. So, if I take away the world view, you can see how big this section is. It's rather large. It's actually quite exceptionally large, this section. When I go into the world view, when I turn the world view on, you can see that it takes up pretty much a good chunk of this bay, or this whatever you want to call it, this cove, whatever. But it does not go all the way back to the other line, which is back here. So there's a section of pool back here that you can't build in, which kind of stupid, but it is what it is, you know. Considering the tables back here, you think that they would make this line up with that line so you could build one continuous base, but no. So you have the base back there. You have this section up here. So I'll load this section in, and this is somewhat where it gets glitchy because sometimes one section will load and the other section will unload, and back and forth, even though they have blocks on them that are supposed to keep them loaded, they will unload for God knows whatever reason. So this is the inner chamber of the sub base. We'll spawn it in, and I just call it a sub base because that's what they call it. It could be any kind of base, could be named anything. Okay, so that base stayed, which is good. And boom, the rest of it's here. So what I did was, since the generator's on that base, I didn't want to put a generator on this base as well. I just wanted to connect everything all up. So you can see our vehicle's got 1. Our base has currently got 1. But you can see all the lights are on. See all the lights are on? See how it's not using any power? There's no power being used. Now watch what happens as soon as I plug in this car. Watch what happens. The base starts using power. So as soon as I plug in the car, even though the car was at full, and the base was at full, they're both using power now. And the car, like I said, the car was full, the base was full, but what's happening is now the lights are using power because I hooked it up. As soon as I unhook it, it goes back to being full. But as soon as I plug it back in again, we start losing power. So what I did was I created these two towers, these 2 power towers, so I can hook the back base to the front base, use the generator in the back base, power the front base. So now everything over here should be all charged up. There you go. So everything's now charged up and everything's running. So that's why I did that. I did the 2 power poles because, like I said, this base can't be bumped up to that base. There's this big gap in the middle, which I did find a use for. But there's this big gap in the middle, and the game is just like, no, we're not going to have you build your base, cover this entire water area with a dock, which would be kind of smart, but no, instead we're going to be stuck with a gap. So anyway, I figured out something to do with this gap, and I'll let you in on that in a second. First, I want to go up here and show you this build station. So you can see when I come to this build station, it is a smaller station, much smaller, and it takes up, a relative area of the bigger station, of the base station. So this is actually inside the base station, or at least partly inside of it. And what I discovered is that you can spawn in pretty much any boat here that you would normally be able to spawn in. However, you have to make note that there is a lot of this underwater. So when you spawn in a boat, so say I wanted to spawn into my oil rig boat here, my oil rig boat is going to be half underwater when it starts, so it's going to float as soon as it spawns in. So you got to be ready for your boat to hit the roof if your boat is really tall. If you have a freighter or something, you have to make sure your freighter is only using about half the build space. Otherwise, she's going to bounce off the roof. And I can show that with my with the oil rig platform that I'm working on. Hopefully this doesn't. Yeah. So see how it's going to spawn in? It's going to spawn in underwater, most of it underwater. So it's actually going to jump up, about that far. I would say about that far. It's going to jump up from there to there. That's how much higher it's going to go. So it is, in fact, probably going to bang off the roof. So let's see what happens. And note you can't see the other base while you're in the work area for this base, or for this vehicle. You can't see the other base, which I think is why they vanish. I think it unloads one to show the other. And I think that's what happens when you messing with these two. It forgets that it's supposed to have it loaded. Oh man, look at that! Look at that laggy. Here we go, off the roof. Well, is it gonna hit the roof? It might have hit the roof. I don't think it hit the roof. Did it? Well, look at how slow my game is. It is not having it. I don't think it hit the roof. I think it came close. It definitely came close, but I don't think it hit the roof. That's cool. Okay. I'm good with that. Let's get this thing unloaded because it's not the reason we're here today. And it is so... Look at how slow this is. Oh my god. Actually, can I come down here and just take it back to workbench? Can I get close enough to take it back to the workbench without falling in? Yes, I can. Back to the workbench with you. I did click it. There we go. Oh my gosh. Alright, so we will exit without that. And hopefully that doesn't take the rest of the base with it. No, okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. So as you can see, you can spawn pretty big things in here. I would not, but you can. Now I designed this base so that you can see there's ramps. There's a ramp here, which I am kind of saddened by these ramps. They don't have proper physics shapes, believe it or not. See how I'm bouncing? You see how I was bouncing up there? It's kind of hard to notice on the way down, but you can definitely notice on the way up. Watch the bounce. Bounce, 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 bounce. So I'm bouncing up. So it's basically hopping me up blocks, even though it's a sloped surface. And I didn't actually realize that until I built this ramp. That's how Stormworks works. So slopes are not slopes. Slopes are actually squares. They're stairs. Slopes are actually stairs. But anyways, so what I have here is I have 4 storage units. They have quite a bit of storage in them. 83, 88 each. And I have a little hopper car. Oh, which I accidentally left full of coal. Well, that's useful. Okay. So what you can do here, the way I set it up was, you have this little hopper car, and I made the ramp over there, and I made a lower section there, and you can dock up, you know, any of your support vehicles or whatever that have, you know, say they have coal or iron or whatever, even fish, and you just take your little loader vehicle, take it down the ramp, which is bumpy as fuck because, like I said, it's stairs. It's not. So you take your little buggy vehicle down here, and you park it at the dock. You load it up. Your 300 and whatever. Which, admittedly, I know 300 and something isn't a lot, but I couldn't really make a massive vehicle for this job. And then you just take your loader vehicle, back up the ramp, bumping all the way. Watch, bump, 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 bump. You're definitely driving up squares there. And then you just back her down. And all battery run. There's no glitching or anything in this build. I did not use any glitch engines at all. This thing's just got 2 batteries, and you plug it in to charge it back up again. It's purely EV. So you just back up to your spot here. You put on your parking brake, and you start dumping. And you'll see that it'll start loading into storage. You see the coal going up, car's going down, and storage is getting full. And then if you want to go the other way, so if you want to go the other way, we'll stop unloading, and we will back it up just a little more. That's probably good there. And we'll set our parking brake, hop out, and we are in stall, what, 3? We're in stall 3, which I think is this one. 3 storage. And it dumps it back into the vehicle. A little bit slower, but a little slower dumping back into the vehicle. But you're only loading 300 and something, so it's not a big deal. Plus, you can charge yourself up while you're here, because I put charge ports on the different stations. So you just hook up here and charge your back up to full. Put your cable back away, and you're good to go. So like I said, each storage has 8388 that it can hold, which is good for, you can collect and whatnot, and then head back out. The problem, like I said though, is that sometimes this damn base, if you're messing with the bases, like if you're gonna make an edit to one of them, sometimes the other one will vanish, and then, you know, especially if you got shit stored, you're in trouble because your storage is gonna vanish. Whatever you have stored is gonna vanish. So I'm kind of designing these bases, or trying to design these bases, so they're absolutely complete, and there's going to be no need to edit them at all when you're done, or when I'm done. There's going to be no need to edit or add anything. You can just use them, you know, use them as a base. So that is, I'm trying to make sure that I have everything added to it, basically. Parking brake on. It's in this little parking spot. It's got its little connector here. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Anyway, so this little pool back here is the perfect size for small boats, like little rescue boats, little speedboats or whatever. So I decided I was going to put in a little dock back here. So I put a little dock back here with this little pool in mind, and I actually made it so you can come right underneath with small boats. So you can bring a little boat through here, you can dock it over here, and away you go. Now, the only problem with this entire spiel here... Oh, I even put a floating buoy over there for docking another boat, if you just want to dock a boat without having real access to it. So say you have like a little skiff or something, you just want to dock it to kind of keep it out of the way. There's a little floating buoy over there that's mounted to the wall, so you could just clip onto that and just sit there and kind of hang out while you wait for, you know, maybe another boat, or wait for one boat to clear, wait for one boat to finish off loading while the other boat just waits there, kind of thing. But there are a lot of docking. You can see all these cones have a rope anchor attached to them. I don't really have rope storage here. I want to put rope storage maybe in the wall down there, so there's a whole bunch of ropes there, and then maybe another one up here. Maybe put it along here, so there's like rope storage here, possibly, or maybe put some rope storage here, something along those lines, just so you can latch off to boats that are coming in. I wanted this to be a higher section here, because for bigger boats or for taller boats, you can tie them off. You have area to tie off here, and then for shorter boats, or even the taller boats, but still, you can tie them off here. If the boat's not tall enough for that, you can tie them off down here. Submarines or any other boats, and you can see there. The one thing that another little pet peeve I have is that this build zone doesn't go all the way to the ground. So if you can see there, I purposely had spotlights in the tunnel, pointing down, but unfortunately those spotlights revealed a painful truth, and that is this: the dock doesn't come all the way to the ground. Like the docking area does not, or the build area does not come all the way to the ground. And this is actually as far back as it goes. I had to indent these lights because this wall is actually right on the edge of the build area. I could not bring those lights out to the surface. I had to embed them. So they were able to be used. Same with this ladder. The whole reason this ladder is indented is because this is the limit. This is as far out as this ladder can go. It cannot go out any further than that. That is the maximum limit. So I made a nice little cove for it, which fits. It looks all right. Yeah. Now, the one problem there is with this base is that it is subject to issues. You're going to see in a second here what I'm talking about. So I cranked up the waves, and you can see that wave action in Stormworks is fairly unrealistic. And you can see that more prevalent back here, where this area, realistically, this entire area back here would be completely sheltered, but you can see how the wave just kind of travels through the ground, flooding the whole back section here. So, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. That's a quirk of Stormworks. This should be a sheltered harbor. It really should. But it is not, because the walls of the island are not treated as land as far as waves are concerned. The waves just keep on a-going. Keep on a-going right through. And that has to do with the way that the world is built. And I can show you actually an example of that by taking you back into the builder. See, the waves just come right on through. And it doesn't matter if I change the wind direction. I can change the wind direction so that it's coming at us from the side. Which way is the side? That way the side? No. Like that, maybe? A little bit more. I'm trying to get a specific angle here, but it's not really that easy to get. Okay, that's coming straight in, so I want it to be more this maybe. There we go. There we go. So now you can see the waves actually coming from the back of the cave through and going out the front. And I think that perfectly shows how the water physics in Stormworks are kind of screwed up. The wave comes from the back of the cave and goes out the front. and that just that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. So I basically treat this as a low wind base. Um, I leave it maximum of 10, maximum or maximum wind of 10. Um, which, you know, there's still a little bit of white caps and whatnot, but it doesn't take away the functionality or the quote unquote realism of the base. Um, it kind of keeps it on plane, and like I said, realistic. Um, so you still have waves coming from the back. It's just you don't really notice they're coming from the back. It's just a ripple effect now. It's just an up and down kind of oscillation effect. So you can't really tell the waves are coming from the back or from the front or from the side, which is good because this is how it should be in a sheltered bay. It should be like this. You'll have a little bit of pulsation coming from changes in the water pressure because there is an opening. Same with out here. Out here you would have waves coming in and they would dissipate. Like they would come in this way on an angle, hit this here, and they would kind of dissipate off this way and hit that wall, and then they would dissipate again. So you would definitely still have waves in here during a storm, or during high winds. It just wouldn't be the way that it showed it. The water would oscillate in here. It would go up, down, up, down, up, down, but you wouldn't have actual waves like we see. And like I said, I can show you why that happens. If I go into the work, I'll go into this workbench because it won't unload the base, I hope. Okay, so if I look here, I'm gonna clear this out. Clear that out. Okay. If I go here and I show you and I go through the side of the base, see how the water's under the whole thing? The water exists everywhere. See how the water's everywhere? So there's no true detection of landmass. The landmass is here visibly, and we can run into it, and our boats can run into it. But as far as the water's concerned, the land doesn't exist as far as the water's concerned. The water goes right under it, right through it. And that's why the waves don't behave properly. Because as you can see, there is no, as far as the water's concerned, there is no land. So that's why it is what it is. But anyways, so that's just a little demonstration of the base that I've been working on. I think these two sections are pretty much done. I don't think I need to make any more adjustments to them, really. I have the power center back there. I have a defensive turret. I do actually want to put another turret maybe in this area, or even down here on this lower deck right here. Something small though, something like machine gun-ish, just to defend the opening here. I don't know if I don't know if I really need it, or if it's going to be a good idea or not. Because if the AI comes with a boat, a little machine gun turret's not going to do a hell of a lot. That'll be my cannon turret up on the top, which only really faces one direction. So you'll end up going probably ship to ship. So in which case you'll spawn a ship here, and you'll probably be firing at whatever the hell it is as you go out. As you leave the base, you'll be firing at whatever's intruding. But yeah, so that's basically the base. Now I'm gonna take you up, and I'm gonna show you the third section. And actually, I'm gonna re-engage you. It's going to go boom, boom, boom every once in a while. I'm going to take you up and show you the third section and why I haven't done anything with it. There's our turret. Auto loads. You can see it auto load, and then it goes to fire. Boom! And it is shooting low. And then you can see it turns back, auto loads, and the spent shell comes out. I can tune down the auto load so it doesn't spend as much time loading. Right now it's at 10 seconds. Shells come out. I do think it's aiming a little low though. Yeah, it's definitely aiming low. So I can tune that up. That's an easy tune up. I wrote the coding for the turret, so I can tune it up to, you know, set its aim at 5 degrees higher, or 2 degrees higher, or whatever. So anyway, so that's the turret. It fires via radar, which is on the front here. You can see the radar. Still have that on. It doesn't do anything. It's just there. That used to be the activation button when I was testing. It doesn't do anything now. Oh, we got a down tree. We have a tree down! So here's the third build area. And as you can see, it's also a massive area. It's huge. But it doesn't connect in any way to the other build areas. There's no tunnel to build a staircase down to inside the base. There's nothing. There's no connection anywhere inside here. I can't even put something down through the roof to like run a cable to, because it doesn't go down into the roof. That's as far down as it goes right there. That's the bottom of it, or right there. You can see the arrow, which is like right below the surface. So it doesn't actually come anywhere near the roof of the cave. So I can't even like run a cable like I did back there, how I had two cables connected. I can't even do that with this upper part. So I honestly have no idea what to do with it. The most I can think of putting up here is maybe a radio antenna, solar powered radio antenna. I can't think of anything else to do with this top area. Like absolutely nothing. Maybe a camera that rotates to give me a full 360 view. But am I going to put a base up here? Am I going to put a building up here? No, because there's no way to quickly get from up here to down there. I would literally have to leave this base, run down the hill, through here, and then underneath to get to here. That's just and I can't even build a staircase to do that because it ends right here. So I don't know what this top area is supposedly for. I'm willing to bet people have built stuff up here before. But the fact for me that it doesn't connect to any other area, not by path, not by tunnel, not by like a hole here would have been great. And have these two butt up together, like have the bottom of this platform meet the top of this platform or build area, the bottom of this build area meet the top of this build area, and then put a hole so you can run a staircase or a ladder or something between the two of them. That would have been a brilliant idea, and then you could have had I could have an actual base up here and still have access to down here, just come down a ladder or something. But with the way that this is built, this up area is practically useless as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, there's probably people who have done stuff with it. I have no doubt. But for me, unless I'm going to put an automated turret up here, but again, I'd have to supply it with its own power source because I can't connect it up to the base power. The base power's like way the frig back here. I'm not going to be able to run a cable from here to here. Like what? That's over 40 meters. I can't run a cable from there to power the thing. So I really don't know. I don't know what I would do with this top section. Like I said, it would only be useful for maybe a giant solar array just to power a radar, maybe, and that radar can send, I don't know, send a video or send a signal via antenna. Like you'd be sending an antenna signal from here to there. Like, I could send an antenna signal from here to my security room. Like, it doesn't make any sense why they would do that. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't. I mean, I could probably glitch it, and I could probably glitch it and have like a cable tower here, and then I could have a cable on the ground here and just like run off this edge holding the cable, attach it to there. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But even then, it's still kind of useless because, like I said, there's no walking path between the two, so it would only be useful for a radar, maybe, or um, you know, maybe a radar, maybe a radio antenna, a camera, like a periscope or something like that. That's all I could figure to use up here. So I don't even know if I would use it. I mean, I went through so much trouble hiding this back stuff. Like, I went through so much trouble, camouflaging this entrance and camouflaging the door here on top for the cannon. That it seems kind of counterpoint to start putting, man-made antennas and shit on the roof. The whole point is to go unseen, right? But anyway, that's just to show you how my base is coming along, how this base is coming along. I will show you the glitch. I'll show you because the glitch is repeatable. So right now you can see both bases exist. That base exists. This base back here exists. Right now they're connected by a wire. Everything's all hunky-dory. I could even disconnect this wire. I'll disconnect this wire just so it doesn't, there's no physical connection now between the two. So watch what happens. I'm going to come back here, and we'll edit this one. I'll just do a quick edit. And you can see what happened. It unloaded it. When I went in, I went edit vehicle in work zone, or edit work zone, and it did not keep it loaded. It didn't keep it loaded. It unloaded it. So now, if I go to load, and I'll load the base, I'll load the sub base. Okay, and I just want to make that little tiny edit. You can see our ammo storage underneath here. It raises with the platform. It's just stored underneath. Anyway, where's my controller? Oh, wait a minute. Ballistic trim. I want it to go up. Let's try up 1. Let's try up 1 degree. Okay, and we'll just save it. Spawn it. It says there's already a vehicle in the edit zone. Well, how can there already be a vehicle in the edit zone? Because we just said edit structure and zone. So this is what I mean. It kind of glitchy. It glitchies. So now I go to edit vehicle and zone. Okay, now I'm editing it, right? So now I'll go back in again. I'll fix that again. Up to 1. Okay. Save. Make sure it's saved. Spawn. What you're going to notice now is the other base is probably going to have vanished. Yep. Gone. Even though I didn't unload it, even though I didn't do any work to it, I even disconnected it, it unloaded itself. It's gone. And it has a keep alive block on it. So that's what I mean when I say it's glitchy. So what you have to do before you actually start playing with it, you have to make sure you have everything done. Everything, all the touches, everything, even the gun adjustment, it's all got to be done before you actually go and play as a base. Before you actually go and use it as a base. So anyway, let's see if our gun actually hits target now. So we did our adjustment of +1. Door open, gun go up. Let's zoom in a little bit here. And we'll see what happens. We're going to load. You can see we do have a target detected. Right there. That's our target. Swing it over. Ooh, I couldn't tell where that went. I couldn't tell if that went above or below. might have to adjust the fine-tuning so it can go a little better. Oh, we're way over now. We are way over top. So I do have to adjust it. I'll have to make it so you can go by maybe 0.1. You can adjust it by 0.1. Oh, wait a minute. That was damn close. That was damn close. That one looked like it went under again. Let's go take a peek. Oh, generator's kicking in. Okay, so we upped its trim by 1. I do actually want to make this a live trim. Right now it's still in the edit stages, so I'm still playing with the trim. That looked really low. That looked like stupidly low. That was low. It kind of looks like the first shot was high, and then the second shot was low. That's really low now. That's way lower than it was. He's almost hitting the ground there. That is way lower. The first shot went over. Second shot went a little lower. The third shot, I mean, we're at the deck now. So I might actually have a little bit of an issue with my coding. Because I think that's as low as it... I think that's about as low as I can aim right now. So I might have an error in my coding that I have to work out. It could be stacking up negatives. Which, you know, it happens. But I bet that's what it's doing. It's stacking up negatives. So the first shot is at a certain angle, and then it goes back to reload, and then it comes off of reload, and it lowers it a little more. Oh, I bet you I know why. I bet you when the turret zeroes out. Yeah, look at the barrel. The barrel's not zeroing out. So when the turret zeroes out to reload, what's supposed to happen is the barrel is also supposed to zero out to reload. And it's not, which means when it comes off of reloading, it's adding the downward angle that it was at to the downward angle that it's now programmed to go back to. Because when it goes to reload, it's supposed to zero this way, which is pointing straight ahead, and it's also supposed to zero this way. And then what happens is when it comes off of reload, it goes back to aiming. So pretend I'm the gun. I aim down over here, fire, and then I'm supposed to come back up to zero and zero straight ahead. But it's not doing it. And then once the reload finishes, I'm supposed to go back to my last known coordinates, which is down here. But what it's doing is it's going initial reload, lock on target, fire, back to reload, and then it's going down again. Fire, and then it go back to reload, and then it goes down again. Fire. It's not bringing the barrel up back to zero between the movements. So that's going to be a fairly easy thing to correct. I'm not going to correct it in this video because I don't want this video to get stupid long. But I will correct that before I make this. I'm going to make this workshop available. Both of these bases once I have all the trims done and all the bugs worked out. Okay, so I have to make that adjustment on that turret, which I will do off camera, you know, when I can. Now that I know that's what the problem is, I was able to actually witness that as the problem. That'll be fairly easy to fix. So anyway, that's going to be it for this little demonstration. And hope you like what you see. Again, I am once I finish these, I'm going to make them workshop capable. I might, and this is a very, very slim might, do something about that third spot. Because I do still have a security station available. This station here doesn't have anything going on right now. I put it in here just in case I come up with something. But so far, this is the camera station. And I could add more cameras to this because I could just put another switch here or whatever. I could, I can put a toggle button and just have it switch between multiple cameras instead of having just switch back and forth between 1 and 2 cameras. I can have it a push button that cycles through 8, 9, 10 cameras, whatever. So I don't really need another camera station for main security, like inside the base, whatever. This is the gun camera, so I don't really need anything else for that gun turret, which is actually hiding. The gun turret's actually on the opposite side of this wall right here. You can't get to it on the inside, but you can repair it. Repairing it is you raise it up, you flip it on, raise it up, and then you have somebody go stand on the turret, like stand on the platform. You flip the switch, and it'll take you down inside. And you can, repair if there's any repairs that need inside. There shouldn't be because it should be protected by the ground, but you never know. Anyway, so I have these 2 stations. I have this third station. The third station I could make a radar station. That would probably be a cool idea. The thing is to get the station functional, which I would want to do via composite, and I don't want to do it via an antenna. So, like I said, I could build one of these type of towers with a plug on it, an electrical cable anchor, because the cable anchors have composite. They can feed composite through them. They can also feed video through them, I believe. They can feed audio through them. All that good stuff you can feed through the cable anchors. So, with that said, if I can put a cable anchor, even somewhere like around here, as high as I can get it, maybe with a ladder to it, or ladder up to it, but put it like here, as high as I can get it, then there's a chance that what I could do is something similar to this, where I'm connecting the 2 bases together with the 1 connector. Like I said, this base on top here, it'd be totally useless to have any kind of man thing on it. So, like, having myself, going up here to actually man the thing or whatever would probably become totally useless. But when you spawn in the base, what you could do is you can come up here, take an electrical cable, and you'd like connect the electrical cable to a ground point. Like it would probably be like down on the ground as low as it can go. Like maybe here there'd be another electrical connector. So you'd come up here with your wire, connect it here, and then you just kind of huck yourself off the edge here into the cave and climb up the dock, plug it in, and then you'd have a cable that goes through the, I mean, if it reaches that far, and then you'd have a cable that connects this base to that base, and then you could just run everything back through that electrical connector. Have this front base connector connect to the back base connector, and just push all the video and composite and radio and audio, whatever the hell you need to send through, to this electrical connector. So you're basically daisy chaining the electrical connectors. You connect to that connector, and that connector would connect to this connector here, and this connector would connect to this connector, and then this connector would send all of its information into the security office to station number 3. So, I mean, it is possible for me to do something like that. I might do that. I'd use the big radio antenna, or big radar antenna, to get that done. But again, that would be the only thing I can see. The only purpose I could see for having this top section would be an antenna. And when I say antenna, I mean the big, where is it? Like this guy is like the big sucker. I think it's got a ridiculous distance. It doesn't actually say. This doesn't actually say, this radar dish. Actually, none of them say. None of them say what their range is. This one's long range. AWACS is long range. This one doesn't say it's long range or not. I would assume it's long range, considering how frickin' big it is. It's like similar in size to the AWACS. You could throw the AWACS up on top here. That would actually be cool. And it probably wouldn't be too noticeable either if you turned it into the color of the ground. If you made it ground color, you could probably sit her right there, have her spinning, and nobody'd even notice. I got the ground color saved. You probably just have it spinning. Nobody would even notice it was there. Well, that's my my turret, but same thing up top here. I could paint it white because of the snow. Nobody probably friggin' even noticed it was there. Like, look at that. It just looks like a snowball. I put it up on top of the hill. Nobody'd even see it. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm getting all kinds of ideas now for that top section. Basically, it's just going to be a radar. I can put a radar in that third section and that, just call it a day. Hook that up to, somehow hook that up to that, hook that up to that, and then send all the radar data through. Have it appear on the screen doing its little beeps and stuff. Telling me where, if there's any targets out in the water. Because there's not really any, there's nothing really around. I think there's an island out that way, I want to say. I think? Or, no, it might be out that way. There's an island somewhere here. But, oh, there it is. There it is out that way. Island out that way. But I don't think it's a populated island, or an island that can be populated. But still, want to keep track and make sure there's no bad guys sneaking up on me. For those who wonder why that's there, that is actually, I added that as a specific target for that. If you don't know how to do that, that's actually under the add-on editor. So you go under the add-on editor. I basically created a sub-base firing test. I used the custom submarine base, and then I edit objects. You can see there's the sub base, and I just dropped the boat. Well, I didn't really drop the boat; it's kind of hovering in the air. You can see. So I just put the boat there, off the shore of the base. Within range of my turret, and then I was like, okay. So that works as a demo. I could put a few of them out there if I want. If the turret was actually hitting them, it'd probably be worth it to put a couple out just to see if, once a boat sinks, if it stays locked onto it, or if I can, force it to change targets. I don't really know at this point because I haven't done that. But yeah, so you can see there's no boat there. No boat there now. And if I go into the add-on editor and go back to overview. If I go to test, I click test, and you see it spawns in the boat, and then there's a boat there. So it gives me something to practice firing at. That's how you do it. You just go into the add-on editor and you just add a boat and see if it hits it. I can move the boat in the add-on editor or whatever. If, like I said, if I wanted to add 2 or 3, or if I need to respawn it, I could just do that and it respawns. So you can get a good test of your target capabilities of whatever you're using, and you just add via add vehicle. I can add, if I want to add my giant oil rig platform, for example, I just pop it out here. There you go, and now I can practice firing at it. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense for me to practice firing at it. It's a huge friggin' target, so I'm probably going to hit it regardless of where I'm aiming. That's why I went with the smaller guy. But yeah, so now I wait for it to chug a lug and load in my boat. There it is. This is also how you load in vehicles that are too big to load. Just FYI, you do it this way, and then you go hop in the vehicle and you can drive around or whatever. Use it as if you loaded it in a workspace. But yeah, so that's basically that. So I'm gonna go remove that though, because I'm not done testing. And last freaking thing I want is for my big boat to spawn in every time. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. So hopefully you like what you see. I will continue to work on it. The best part here is, you notice there's no snow. We have no snow here. So it shows snow in the editor, but there's no snow here. So I would have to go with the ground color, or rather the green color, because if I went with the ground color, that's the ground color down there. So I'd have to go with the green color if I wanted to hide an AWACS up on this, up here. No snow color, because there is no snow here. So, bad editor, showing me snow. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. This is Jody and signing off. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.